Hi, I'm Miraj.
And I'm Nikita, and you are watching Check It Out.
Nikita, did you watch that viral clip of Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise going at each other?
I did, and it's hard to believe that was entirely generated by AI. C-Dance, wasn't it?
Yeah, the ByteDance video generator is quite unreal. It really threw people in Hollywood too. But I think the bit that stayed with me is that neither actor had given his assent to his likeness being used in that clip.
Yeah, that does raise some very troubling questions, Miraj. I mean, if you can't control your own likeness, then how does that really work?
Exactly, but it's not all bad. In this episode, we're looking at how AI is being used to make movies, clear space junk, robots helping the elderly, and a van being used to map climate change. All that and more coming up on this episode of Check It Out.
The Oscars accept films that have used AI-generated visuals.
Yeah, but I think they have a caveat. I mean, the entire film can't be generated by AI.
But that's a bit difficult to define, right? I mean, how do you really draw a line with something like that?
Well, in China, people have been creating entire micro-dramas with AI. Like dragons breathing fire, cats fighting with kung fu.
Well, Hollywood isn't far behind. One of Hollywood's most storied film schools is betting that AI can rewrite the rules of filmmaking.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
At the USC's celebrated School of Cinematic Arts, this is the same program that produced Ryan Coogler. 29-year-old Celia Zheng is turning hand-drawn sketches into polished, three-dimensional visuals. Not with a render farm or a studio budget, but with generative AI tools. He runs these from his laptop, and what used to take a team now takes him just about 20 minutes.
Runway coming out and Pika coming out. Those two are the new AI video generating tools at 2023. So I think, wow, that's a chance. That's a chance for the beginners like me, can using AI to just make a film and to announce the world that I have the ability to be a director by just using AI to tell the story and to using the camera languages.
管乐还是没有来吗？已经很久没有再看到林老师和他在操场合奏了。不知道明天的游泳比赛他还会不会去？
That chance became Torment, a 7-minute horror short about a masked killer stalking a high school. The entire film was generated by AI in a single week. Zheng recorded himself in front of a green screen, then let the software reshape his voice and face into every character. The result was recognized at the LA Shorts Festival.
It's very, very hard to make if you are using a traditional way, because it's involved with several different backgrounds. For example, in the school, in the swimming pool. So, and as a student, I can definitely not possible to have that much money. So I'm just I'm thinking, how can I make those visuals come true? So AI is very good tool, help me to do those kind of things.
Of course, not everyone in Hollywood shares Zheng's enthusiasm. AI was a flashpoint in the 2023 writers and actors strikes. And directors like Guillermo del Toro have said they'd rather die than use it. But the Academy itself has taken a different stance and updated its rules last year to say that generative AI neither helps nor hurts a film's chances at a nomination.
So when I watch the film Frankenstein, especially Toro mentioned the whole ship in the film, it's a real thing and using so much money to make that thing. The people like me, the young artists, and especially from the independent filmmaker, I was just thinking, if I using AI to do that, it's much cheaper, and I can make something pretty similar by just using AI.
Back in the classroom, professors are grappling with how to teach this stuff responsibly. A recent AI-generated fight scene between Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise that went viral was made without either actor's consent. The film raised fresh questions about where the ethical lines for generative AI in filmmaking lie.
In the artistic process, AI is much bigger than that. It's not just about, hey, I have a prompt and I'm just gonna like type a few words and I'll get my image and I'll get my animation and I'm done, I can go home now.
Isaac argues that when AI tools are trained on artists' own work and not scraped from the internet without permission, then the technology doesn't have to be exploitative. It can, in fact, he says, expand what independent filmmakers are able to pull off.
Especially as an independent filmmaker, I think that it's really exciting, certain tools, and some of these tools are not ethically dubious at all. They're trained by people that are using their own work to train it.
就哪怕堵车，我对堵车一点意见都没有，然后就看各种各样。
That's exactly what recent USC graduate Shindy Zhang did. For her Student Academy Award-winning short, The Song of Drifters, Zhang fed the AI dozens of her own drawings. The system used them as a style guide, helping her create the film's cityscapes, a process that could have taken years.
我要跟它跟这个物理的地点有一个强的情感连接。
I don't have to waste the time or wait until I finish the whole sequence, and that doesn't, it's cost too much, both time and money. It's like, I will not be sure if that's what I want, but from that I can have so many tries.
But even with AI doing the heavy lifting, Zhang spent nearly a month perfecting certain shots. Which brings us to the part of the story nobody talks about. Using AI, well, is its own kind of craft.
Even the people who are making AI generative work right now, if you really dig into that, that becomes another kind of craft. And that's a craft that nobody really appreciates right now yet. But once you really dig into that, you will know that it's not that easy. And the good, cheap, fast will never happen. No matter what tool you use, it will just never happen.
So here's the takeaway. AI isn't handing anyone an Oscar, at least not yet, but for young filmmakers who've got the vision but not the budget, it's removing one of the biggest barriers in filmmaking. For proponents, the craft isn't going anywhere, it's just getting new tools.
A few months back, Starlink announced that it would be moving its satellites into low orbit to enhance their effectiveness and maybe allow like a mobile phone to connect with the network directly.
I mean, wouldn't that be something? But even Blue Origin recently announced that they plan to send some 50,000 satellites into low orbit to set up like cloud networks. I mean, it's getting pretty crowded in space. There are thousands of dead satellites and debris out there.
Now, one startup is building a space tow truck to clean up the mess and save critical orbital systems. Need of the hour, I must say.
I agree.
What if space had a tow truck, not for cars, but for dead satellites drifting above Earth? A space technology startup called Clear Space says that idea could change everything, making space cleaner, safer and more sustainable. At present, the Earth's orbit is crowded with thousands of defunct satellites and fragments floating in space, turning it into a cosmic junkyard.
Today, there's more than 35,000 larger objects in space that are completely uncontrollable, right? But then there's hundreds of thousands of centimeter-sized objects and millions of millimeter-sized objects in orbit, which all kind of spread across different environments. And all those objects present a risk of end of mission for a satellite or end of life for an astronaut. So we cannot continue piling up stuff without having a solution to keep this environment operational.
That's where Clear Space comes in. The company is building a tow truck for space, which is a spacecraft designed to capture the dead satellites and drag them back into Earth's atmosphere where they can burn up safely. It may sound simple, but the technology is anything but simple. ClearSpace is developing robotic arms, autonomous navigation systems and precision capture techniques to grab objects moving at thousands of kilometers an hour.
You have to get close to an object that is orbiting, then you have to go pick it up, you have to find a way to grab it, and then once you've got it, then you can provide a service. Either you can move it, so if you move it to remove it, you slow it down, get it into Earth's atmosphere, or you push it out onto a graveyard orbit, or you can operate it longer.
The company believes this is just the beginning. Beyond cleaning up space, the same technology could be used to service satellites, refuel or repair them, and even extend their life. A whole new industry built in orbit. ClearSpace is already working with the UK Space Agency on a mission to remove defunct satellites from low Earth orbit. The plan is to capture these satellites, guide them down, and let them burn up on re-entry to the Earth's atmosphere, reducing the risk to crucial systems like GPS, weather forecasting, and emergency communications. The threat is urgent. Even a small piece of debris just a few centimeters wide can cause catastrophic damage to a satellite. And with more objects being launched every year, the risk of collision is only growing. For decades, space has been about exploration. But now, it may also need cleanup crews. And if ClearSpace succeeds in its mission, the future of space could look a lot more organized and a lot less crowded.
But the reality is that what we're building here is not just one company. It's a complete industry of servicing that will transform the way space operates tomorrow. And that will make things possible that are just not possible so far.
Beijing has opened what authorities say is the world's first robot-assisted elderly care station, a facility where dozens of robots help seniors with everything from physical therapy to making tea.
Sounds very brave, new worldish to me. I mean, I'm sure there are plenty of people who'd like to take up jobs as carers in these homes. I mean, especially in China.
Well, I wonder, don't be too quick to judge.
It's tucked inside the Ronghua community in Beijing's southeastern Yizhuang district, an 1,100 square meter facility that looks, at first glance, like any other neighborhood senior center. But step inside, and the staff here aren't all human. More than 40 types of smart robots work alongside, human caregivers offering massage treatments, leading rehabilitation exercises, even brewing a cup of hot tea. Seniors can challenge a robot to a board game or join in on group activities led by the machines.
The elderly care station offers a wide range of activities covering almost everything: games, dancing, singing, and much more.
Officials expect more than 300 visits a day, and the robots here aren't just novelties, they're built to adapt.
From turning seniors in bed, to helping with medication, bringing water, assisting with meals, and aiding with bathing, these are all tasks that robots can handle. This is an area we should pursue going forward, whether through rental models or by making such devices affordable to those who need them for elderly care.
Each interaction generates data feeding back into the system, so the robots can be fine-tuned to better meet the needs of the people they serve.
Unlike traditional elderly care stations, we have integrated basic services, age-friendly retrofitting services, and robot-assisted services. We will gradually collect suggestions and opinions from the elderly and give feedback to service providers.
The station is part of a broader push by Beijing to expand smart elderly care across the city.
These robots are far from being just laboratory research products. They need to enter millions of homes and be refined through applications. By serving the elderly here and gathering their feedback, along with input from community residents, we can in turn drive the development of the entire robotics industry.
It's a pilot project that officials hope will become a model as China grapples with one of the fastest aging populations in the world.
Now this story I like. Kind of like old-fashioned tech, no robots, but a human driving a van around town, a mobile lab collecting pollution data from the air and water.
and measuring how the city's green spaces absorb that pollution to figure out how to balance the two. Only in Auckland, folks. Love that city.
For years, cities have estimated their carbon footprint using fuel sales, power use and national averages. Now, in New Zealand, scientists are switching from estimates to evidence, mapping carbon emissions using a mobile lab. The aim is a practical real-world roadmap to net zero by 2050. At the center of that roadmap is scientist Jocelyn Turner. She's driving an electric van through the streets of Wellington, fitted with equipment to measure what the city is actually breathing, not what models assume. Her team samples the air itself directly in real time. Inside the rolling atmosphere monitor, high-precision sensors track carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, methane and water vapor. Every drive becomes a moving map of emissions. And that map tells a very clear story. In urban areas, cars and roads still dominate. In fact, fossil fuel emissions from cities account for about 40% of New Zealand's total carbon output.
Here in New Zealand, where most of our electricity is renewable and we don't have too much heavy industry, we see that pretty much our emissions are traffic. There are some other sources, some industry, commercial, residential, aircraft, ships, those kind of things, but mostly it's traffic.
For Turner, the implications are direct. Change how cities move and emit gases. Small design and behavior shifts could lead to big emission cuts. But emissions are only half the equation. The other question is what these cities can absorb. How much carbon is being taken back by parks, trees and green space. Mobile data from the van is merged with fixed monitoring stations and fed into computer models, all to answer one question. How much are urban green spaces really offsetting?
You see, we have so much green space in our cities. That green space, those plants are photosynthesizing and taking carbon dioxide out of the atmosphere. And that is actually probably, we think, offsetting a small amount of our emissions in our cities. And so we really want to understand how much is being offset, how much is being taken off, and if there are actions we can take.
The results are already shaping urban planning, from transport policy to how future neighborhoods are designed at both local and central government level. Back at the lab, just outside Wellington, the air from the streets is put under the microscope. Technicians prepare the samples for their final test, freeze it, turn it into graphite, count the atoms, and separate human-made carbon from nature's own. As more samples arrive, the picture of the city gets sharper.
So the samples that we collected on the road are now going to get cryogenically purified by freezing out the CO2 in our liquid nitrogen here. This will leave us with the pure CO2 gas.
This is a multi-million-dollar science project built to give policymakers hard evidence as the country pursues its net zero promise.
Great story. But the one that's been on my mind is the Google Meta lawsuit in the US. Now a court has found that the firms are culpable for social media addiction.
I mean, doom scrolling is very addictive, but that's a habit thing, isn't it?
Sure, but the court ruled that social media platforms, in this case Instagram and YouTube, are designed specifically to create that addiction. It's being called social media's big tobacco moment.
Yeah, I mean, about time too. It's okay as an adult, but children don't have those filters. Kids do need to be protected from social media.
But does that mean you're not going to ask our viewers to follow us on social media then?
Well, watch an episode, like a post, and then go do something else. On that note, folks, stay smart, stay aware, keep watching WION, and have a great weekend.
Bye.